It's Sunday, April 13th, 2025. Hello, good evening to you. Welcome to News 360. Live from our studios here, number 35, John Hammond Street in Accra. My name is Noble Crosby Annan.
And I am Ayisha, Yakubu. Coming up in the bulletin this evening.
360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Just 3 months after a devastating fire reduced much of Accra's Kantamanto market to ashes, reconstruction is complete, but there are lingering safety concerns.
Also coming up, some residents of Weija and parts of Dansiman abandoning their homes in anticipation of flooding this year.
Also tonight, we explore the use of bots to boost social media numbers and engagements.
We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you shortly. Reminder that we're also live on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Please do well to like and share, comment. We'd love to share them with the rest of the world. Let's begin the bulletin from here.
Reconstruction works at Kantamanto Market in Accra have been fully completed just 3 months after a devastating fire destroyed large portions of the popular trading hub. But despite the swift rebuilding, safety concerns remain. Joseph Armstrong Gold Alogbe brings us more of the report.
On January 2nd, 2025, tragedy struck Kantamanto Market as a massive fire swept through the area, destroying nearly everything in its path. Just a day after the disaster, market leadership sprang into action.
It's 2 days after fire ravaged the Kantamanto markets, and the traders have put themselves together to rebuild the markets less than 2 days after fire ravaged this place.
Reconstruction efforts began immediately, even as small pockets of fire were seen being extinguished. Traders feared that any delay could result in the permanent loss of the space they depend on for their livelihoods. 3 months later, the market is fully operational, but the quick recovery has come at a cost. A visit to the site on Friday, April 11, revealed worrying signs.
And she knows why we are here. Basically, this is how some of the traders have wired or connected electricity into their various shops here. So here, speaking to the trader involved, she tells me the ECG official that did its connection said he will come back to redo the wiring, but he's yet to come. And this is what many have said has led to some of the disasters that are being recorded.
Electrical wiring to shops has been done without proper supervision, with exposed cables seen dangling dangerously. There is also no dedicated access route for fire tenders or emergency vehicles, a critical flaw that remains unaddressed. Some traders say the wiring issue.
We're staying a while longer on this to find out some of the safety measures that have been put in place to ensure that these fires do not happen again at the Kantamanto Market. Directional Officer 2 is Desmond Aka, and he's the head of public relations at the Ghana National Fire Service. Good evening, sir, and thank you for joining us on News 360.
Good evening, Ayisha, and good evening to your cherished viewers.
Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us the involvement of the Ghana National Fire Service in the reconstruction process to ensure that there's more safety at the markets?
Well, unfortunately, after we finished managing the third inferno, there wasn't any proper consultation between the market managers, the local authorities, or the assembly responsible for that market, and the traders contacting us for any kind of safety measures to be put in place. We reached out to them severally, and like a bicycle attitude that they put up, they were not willing to sit down with us so that we could help them plan the place so as to be able to factor all the needed safety protocols, such as enough escape routes, widen alleys, fire hydrants, considerations, and then exit routes. None of that happened, and before we could realize they had prepared their own structure, even as we tried, as we did, to get their support, but they were simply not prepared to meet us.
But then, do you have any plans to ensure that a lot more safety measures are put in place to keep the workers there safe?
Yes, so regardless of what happened, the issue is that they have been able to construct the place the way they wanted. So as proactive as we have always been, we have been in constant touch with the market managers. We have gone there to kind of prop them up as far as getting them to come to terms with the fact that they need to secure and protect their wares. And therefore, we have helped them to acquire some basic fire, portable fire extinguishers at the market, which we have trained them as to how best they could use it to handle any small fire when they erupt. And then also for our constant engagement with them, we are also even planning of training more fire wardens among the various groupings, so that if there is any fire emergency situation, they would be the first point of call, so that they will be able to handle call us on time for the needed emergency response. And then what we are even trying to do is to get a permanent office whereby we can send some of our team that would constantly take them through fire safety education pertaining to how best they could store their wares, and more importantly, not to even store flammable materials and other combustible materials even in the market, so as not to increase the fuel load and then to make it very difficult for fires to be contained. So once we get these things done, once they provide us with this space for our task force and for our education team to constantly engage them, that is where we'll be able to also identify some of the hazards that are present, especially when it comes to handling or dealing with the illegal wiring, which is also becoming very rife as a result of other factors that are pertaining in the market.
In addition, how about fire safety inspections? I believe that if that is done regularly moving forward, you're able to spot the dangers and then solve it quickly. Do you have any intentions of that?
Well, aside the periodic inspections that we normally do, that is done by the Accra Regional Command, we also have in mind to kind of pay them surprise visits, so that we can see for ourselves some of the hazards and the risks that are present at the market, so that we can address them as quickly as possible. Because as it stands now, it is the market manager's responsibility to contract competent electricians, certified ones, of course, to be able to deal with all the electrical wiring installation. So we would continually engage them to ensure that that is done by the circumstances that we find ourselves.
DO2, before I let you go, how can the traders also help in all of this? Like, what kind of role can they play in maintaining safety at their workplaces?
Well, we can only advise them to constantly participate in the various sensitization programs that we have with them, and then also participate fully in the fire drills that we conduct anytime we visit that particular space. And then also, we want to urge them to keep the available fire hydrants accessible and then functional, so that at any point in time, when there is any fire, they could handle it even before we even come in to deal with the situation. And then also, we can only urge them to report any fire hazard and rigs that they are able to identify to the nearest fire station. Because they've not given us a space there, I think the nearest fire station is Accra City Fire Station. So any hazard that they are able to identify quickly, they should alert them so that they can help them proffer immediate solution to those ones. And then we also want to encourage them to avoid contracting these amateur electricians who normally come in to do this haphazard and then unsafe electrical wiring connections for them. Once they do that, it means that there could be fire in the near future, and that is what we want them to avoid. And then also, lastly, to stop or to avoid storing flammable goods in the market. And even if they have to store some of the waste that could easily be gutted by fire, is to do so properly based on the guidance that we have given them. And if there is any fire, they shouldn't hesitate to call us, because we are just a stone throw away from that market so that we can move in and then assess them as quickly as possible.
Great advice there, DO2. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Divisional Officer 2 Desmond Akwa is the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service.
Well, from the marketplaces to the roads, the National Road Safety Authority says road crashes involving motorcycles will be minimized with the upcoming legislation to legalize the commercial use of motorbikes or Okada in the country. This follows troubling data that indicate that out of 6,143 road accidents recorded in the first quarter of 2025, 1,575 of them involved motorcycles. George Craning has the rest of the story.
It is fast, convenient and reliable, but in the event of an accident, it could cost you your life. The frequent disregard for road safety regulations by some motorcycle riders has become a serious concern. The commercial use of motorbikes, commonly known as Okada, has also come under intense scrutiny. The Mahama-led administration's honoring of one of its key campaign promises by legalizing Okada has come as a good news to many, but not without reservations. The proposed age limit of 25 years has been met with mixed reactions.
A whole lot of young guys are in this business. But what we do, or what we say to the government, that I should look at the age differences, whereby at least 20 is cool. But at 25 years, it's going to be a whole lot of problem for the guys.
To be in the roadside is not easy. Yeah, only God will protect us. So I'll tell my other brothers, they should take it easy. Yeah, man. The government is right. 25 is cool.
25 years. It's a whole lot of age, because now we have 16 years, 14 years people doing Okada just to take care of their family.
The National Road Safety Authority says Okada has come to stay, but are short of high standards following its legalization.
We first want to legalize Okada, and so a committee has been put in place to review the law. Then, subsequently, or immediately following after that, there will be an amendment to the DVLA Act that will then bring down the age from 25 to say 18 or 21.
Some of the right killers, we cannot be the same. Some people, you cannot control them. Some people, they take drugs. Some people, where they are not supposed to pass, that's where they are passing. And they are causing, and they are even giving them some bad names a lot. And now some people are fearing that, oh, motors are causing accidents. But as I'm here right now, there's not anywhere in the country that I cannot use motor to go.
Latest statistics from the authority reveals a marginal increase of motorcycle deaths over pedestrian deaths.
The current Okada that you see will not be the Okada that you will be seeing when they are legalized, because then they will be formally trained. Apart from that, they would have their agencies in terms of groupings, unions. They will be in unions. Then if there's a company that also wants to set up an Okada business, they can also set up. But you are not going to have an individual person engaging in the Okada business.
Stakeholders, including transport operators, have welcomed the move, but they are urging riders to embrace training and road safety education.
Hardly you see an Okada riding behind a vehicle. They always use the middle lane. Either we are in traffic or we are moving. You see them using the middle lane, which is wrong. So we believe they have to go through a lot of education.
Countries like Rwanda, Liberia and Togo have earned recognition for their regulation of this means of transport. In Rwanda, for instance, the government requires riders to be registered, trained and licensed. If you are a regular user of Okada, the National Road Safety Authority is encouraging you to have a personal helmet whilst processes are underway to legalize its operations. Many are now looking to Ghana to set a new benchmark in its attempt to legalize Okada, a decision that has sparked debate for years. George Quenin, TV3 News, Accra.
And now some residents of Weija and parts of Dansoman have begun abandoning their homes in anticipation of flooding this year. Stanley Niebler reports that the announcement by the Ghana Water Company to spill excess water from the Weija Dam has further heightened residents' concerns.
The rains are already here, and their devastating impact is being felt, especially in areas known to be flood-prone. In Weija and its environs, the situation is particularly dire. Every year, the spillage of excess water from the Weija Dam inundates homes situated downstream. The Ghana Water Company has once again served notice of its intention to spill water from the dam, following an increase in inflow from upstream. During a visit to the facility on Saturday, it was observed that although the water level is rising, it has not yet reached the critical point that threatens the structural integrity of the dam. Hence, the water has not been spilled yet. Downstream, the river is already covered in water lilies, and children have found solace in swimming in it. But the reality remains, the spillage is imminent. Already, homes close to the river are suffering the consequences. Marshy areas that were filled and developed are now pushing back, forcing nature to reclaim its space. The compound of the Roman Catholic school in the area has been flooded due to recent rains, with the playground for kindergarten pupils now completely submerged. Residents insist that the spillage of the dam will worsen the situation.
Whenever it rains, some students are unable to attend school due to the flooding. The entire surroundings become messy and inaccessible. This wasn't the situation when we first settled here, but the haphazard development in the community has brought us to this point.
Ama Boahima says people have already begun evacuating from their homes.
Residents of Oblogo and its surrounding areas have already begun evacuating to safety. They are often the hardest hit by the flood. They usually return once the rain subsides. For now, there are no plans to permanently relocate.
In the Dansoman enclave, blocked water courses and destroyed wetlands, sacrificed for construction and settlement, have only worsened the situation. But each time it rains, nature fights back. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Kweloklu, in line with the President's directive, has vowed not to allow any structures to remain on waterways.
Sometimes I ask myself, why should we sit? I mean, this building wasn't built in an hour. So it took number of years and others even months to build. So why would the assembly sit unconcerned to allow all these structures here? And so we are taxing them to form a task force that will be going around until we have a lasting solution. I mean, all the buildings here, some majority of them will be down.
With the Weija Dam spillage looming, residents of Weija and Dansoman find themselves caught between survival and loss. Until comprehensive, sustained action is taken to enforce building regulations and restore natural water courses, the cycle of destruction will continue. Stanley Niebler, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, it's not just about Weija. More broadly, how prepared are we? The rainy season could be a nightmare for people, especially those living in and around flood-prone communities. From dissemination of weather alerts to community preparedness, Okefo reports that these elements, according to the National Disaster Management Organization, among others, would help mitigate the impact of floods in the rainy season.
Last year, in May and June, devastating floods hit parts of Accra, the capital city of Ghana, after a heavy rainfall. One of Accra's suburbs, Asylum Down, was affected by the downpour. Houses and properties were submerged by the floods, and a victim, John, shared how his family's mental health and properties were impacted by the rains.
Flood too. It was something different. Every place were flooded. There was so much water that even our products were even spoiled. You have to stay awake to watch whether the flood it's coming to a level. Then you gather your things that it doesn't spoil them. It sometimes gives you stress.
About 2 weeks ago, Accra experienced flash floods due to heavy rains. Jan says Asylum Down was not spared again, and this led to the death of a resident.
Last 2 weeks when it rained, because of the flood, it killed someone. That was a neighbor.
He said that the choked drainage system in the area plays a major role in recurring flood disasters that are recorded during the rainy season. Although his main concern is a bridge behind his house which poses a significant threat whenever it rains, John said his family is preparing ahead of the anticipated rains.
We've drained the gutters and cleaned them, so when the water comes, it's able to go to the main gutter very fast. And that's what we've now done to prevent the flood.
For individuals and industries to make informed decisions based on anticipated weather patterns, the Ghana Meteorological Agency has released this year's major seasonal forecast for southern Ghana.
We are saying that the eastern coast will have above normal. We have the normal rainfall, and then we have above normal, and we have below normal. So if we said above normal, then it means you should experience a lot of rain.
Flash floods are likely to occur, especially in cosmopolitan areas and city centers during the April to June period. Probing further about the most vulnerable places to be affected during this period, the Deputy Director and Head of Forecasting at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, GMET, Joe Tete Portofi, said the areas include Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi.
Before it comes to strong winds, thundering activity. So let's remind ourselves that yes, I have a roof. For the last 1 year, I've not checked my roof. Let me call a carpenter to come and reinforce it, so that at least when there is a strong wind, my roof can withstand it.
GMET utilizes radar system to track the development and movement of thunderstorms, including their intensity and direction.
This is Nigeria, this is Port Novo, Lome, Accra. Currently in Ghana, yes, this is Ghana. It's a little stable.
Oh, okay, a bit free.
A bit free. There's some pockets of, that is developing in both our region.
The seasonal forecast for the northern sector is yet to be released by GMET.
In Ghana, we have two major seasons. We have different seasons for the coast and the middle belt, and a different season for the northern zone. Currently, the drivers that we need to use in forecasting for the northern sectors are not yet in. We need sea surface temperatures over a certain period, maybe from March to somewhere ending of April.
After the seasonal forecast and the daily updates to issue weather warning, what's next? We caught up with the Director of Inspectorate at the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Richard Amulati, who said NADMO has activated all its contingency plans towards flood mitigation this rainy season.
We have the safe havens in almost all districts, places that are safe from floods. So those who are in flood-prone areas can either self-evacuate to the safe havens for safety, or we evacuate persons trapped in flood to safe havens for safety.
The act of discarding garbage into waterways and open gutters during a downpour is a common practice among those who disregard responsible waste disposal.
And some of the measures include clearing of waterways, and then also preventing people or educating people, sensitizing people to be aware of the fact that they shouldn't be pouring garbage into drains.
The Greater Accra Metropolitan has 9 drainage channels. He further mentioned that there is ongoing dredging works across the capital city, including other areas in the country.
The happenings of last year, you realize that maybe some specific drains were not dredged enough. I mean, we still need to increase the carriage capacity of some water channels. So these are the things that we are doing.
NADMO says both citizens and government agencies have crucial roles in flood preparedness. Citizens should therefore be aware of flood risks, take individual precautions, and participate in community preparedness efforts. Ekia Oferiwa Dako, TV3 News, Accra.
Moving away from floods and in a bid to erase stigma against patients with cancer, some persons diagnosed with the disease, as well as their families, are opening up for the world to know the real struggle behind their fight to live. Portia Gabo in this report shares the story of 2 families who speak up about the financial and emotional cost of fighting cancer.
Are you tired? Oh. Oh, please. Okay.
Most families and persons fighting cancer will tell you that they experience good days, the in-between days, and bad days when treatment is exhausting. Gilda was a bubbly young girl full of life with hopes and dreams of becoming a successful person in life. Suddenly, she became unwell.
Now, okay. Of course, we come out. We have quite a lot of lady. But of course, we are not afraid say of a fit.
She was okay and going to school. There were times school authorities would call us to say she was vomiting. I also realized changes in her left eye.
We did scan and it came out that she is having a brain tumor.
Surgery was conducted to remove the tumor, but the unexpected happened, which changed her life drastically.
After the surgery, she can't talk, she can't walk. And now we are doing chemotherapy and radiotherapy too. I feel very bad. Not easy. When I look at her the past, and I look at her now, I always cry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I feel that God touches her one day, so that she can stand and walk on her own. Because now she's on diaper, we feed her, we bath her, we do everything for her.
Her school uniform is a reminder of life before her diagnosis.
This sickness is involved a lot of money. Since we have been going to Kolebu every week for the cancer treatment, we need money to assist our daughter because we don't have enough money. There's money spent on her that we can't even count. It's uncountable.
She is mostly indoors and has lost the ability to perform some functions.
Sometimes this is what we have been doing. She was sitting here. I just said that you sit down, let me see. Sit down. The balancing. At first it was good. I don't know.
She can only walk with support. She cannot breathe through her nose and talk as before. But doctors say physiotherapy will greatly improve her quality of life.
What's your favorite food? Banku. And what? Okro. Banku and what? You are talking small. That's a miracle. Congratulations. You'll be talking fully soon, okay?
Gilda and her family are not the only ones fighting cancer. Rukmini Ajite's world turned upside down when she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I didn't know treating cancer was this expensive.
Every step of the journey is expensive. It's all about money. It's all about how fast you can do the tests. Surgery was money. Biopsy was money. CT scan was money. Radiotherapy is even, I would say, the most expensive. There was a point where I was breaking down, especially when I was told about the cost of radiotherapy.
She opens up about the most difficult aspect of her cancer journey.
I was and I am willing to fight cancer. Our health system seemed to be disappointing me. I had my surgery in August, and until now, I have not had radiotherapy, which is a crucial aspect of this treatment. And from what I've read and what I've heard from oncologists, radiotherapy should be done at most within 6 months. I'm in my 8th month and I have not had radiotherapy yet. Not because I'm not ready for it, but the machine keeps breaking down at Kolebu, and Komfanochi too happens to be the same. So here I am, willing to fight, but the system is not helping me.
In a world where most men run away and leave their partners alone to fight the disease, her husband decided to stay.
I believe so much that in marriage, when one is down, the other person must be strong. I said to myself, no matter the situation, I'm going to stand with my wife, for better, for worse. And I know that with God on our side, this one too will be over. So it was a bold decision that I took, just to stand with her.
Gilda and Rukmini's story show that family and emotional supports are crucial in helping patients with cancer fight the disease. A hopeful stigma against cancer patients will end and healthcare systems improved.
I know that by the grace of God, this one too will be over very soon. I'm always with you and I love you forever. Thank you.
Portia Gabo, TV3 News.
Well, their fight is fierce, but their hope is unshaking. To some other stories tonight, the call for schools to become truly safe spaces for growing louder, with stakeholders urging education authorities to prioritize regular training for staff and stronger as well, and parent-school teacher collaboration and comprehensive support systems for students. Now, creating an environment where every learner feels protected, valued, and empowered to thrive is a must. Elsie Adu filed this report.
Schools are often described as a second home for children, a place where they not only learn, but also grow emotionally and socially. But just how safe are our schools? Beyond academic excellence, there's growing concern over whether schools are truly safe spaces for students, both physically and emotionally. On February 5th, a violent clash at Salaga Senior High School led to the arrest of 20 students, with one student stabbed and a locally made pistol recovered. At the Seventh-day Adventist SHS in Bantama, a student accidentally shot 2 peers, critically injuring one. The media in the past 3 months has reported 5 injuries and 1 death over unfortunate incidents in these schools. These alarming events have intensified calls for stronger safety measures and safeguarding policies in educational institutions across the country. As part of efforts to highlight the importance of child safety in educational environments, child rights expert Bright Apia highlights what makes a school safe and how we can improve the structures that protect our children.
We've not really done a lot of putting the protective systems in place, because you go to schools and children carry weapons even to their dormitories, to their classroom. And not only they bring the weapon from the house, but some of them acquire the weapons in the school and even the nearby community. So clearly, if children exist in a dormitory and you cannot have a protective system to guide us to what they can carry and all, then we are not implementing a safe school program. So if you gauge that, then you come to the conclusion that we are not really implementing it. If you are doing so, then it means that every system that we put in place must speak to all the issues that children face and how they can easily be addressed.
A student also shared his thoughts on the issue.
Considering the fact that you mentioned, the schools are not 100% safe for students because of the activities going on in the campus and the school surrounding and other things. But to make it a safe place, it's the responsibility of the school authorities to to discipline the students.
Teachers carry the responsibility of not only imparting knowledge, but also modeling respect, empathy, and trust. Alarming reports are emerging about some teachers allegedly influencing student athletes to take performance-enhancing drugs.
My sports teacher was introduced me to that drug. At first, I didn't know. So when I used to run. I used to run faster in the school. So by then we were going to Olympics, and so we qualified to the interzonal.
As we strive for academic excellence, let's not lose sight of the emotional and physical well-being of our children. Creating safe, inclusive, and supportive learning environments must remain a priority.
Social media influence is downright to the numbers, often measured by followers, likes, and views. But what if those numbers aren't real? A growing number of people and businesses are turning to bots, automated programs designed to boost engagement artificially. So what does this mean for social media credibility? There's more in this report. When scrolling through social media, it is easy to assume that a high follower count equals real influence. But behind the scenes, bots are often doing the heavy lifting, creating an illusion of influence and sometimes importance. These bots can like posts, follow users, and even leave comments. Some influencers and businesses buy these services to appear more popular, which can eventually attract real engagement.
It sort of builds authority, and people think that they can trust brands that have the numbers. They can sometimes be shallow metrics that we look at, but people want to build authority. They want to become thought leaders in their space. So people go on there and it's like, oh, someone released music and the person got 1 million views in a day. But then people don't really drill down to know if the 1 million views are real from actual human beings. It's just for people to feel superior, and also it helps people to go viral.
It is not just influencers using bots. Political groups, brands, and even individuals seeking social validation have been found inflating their engagement through bots. But is this just a harmless trick or something more concerning?
Bots are not entirely a bad thing. They've got two sides. Bots can be used for customer service, where virtual assistants, but it becomes bad when people use bots even to influence social conversations. When you go on Twitter, sometimes there's a tweet, there's an engagement, and you find fake accounts which are bots, semi-automated, in there mimicking human engagement, just to grow someone's page because they want to make some money from a verified page or something like that.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter have all pledged to crack down on fake engagement, removing millions of bot accounts. Still, the demand for social media clout keeps these services in business.
Instagram algorithm is very dicey. Sometimes it gets really crazy, and we are confused and concerned about why a specific post will not do so well. But sometimes you get the nerves to want to go for bots so you can increase your engagement or your audience or your insights. But at the same time, you want to be able to build a very authentic audience. The real bots come to my email. They put up a write-up saying, hi, I'm this, da-da-da. I want to boost your engagement. Who are you to tell me what I want and how my insights are doing?
So what can users do? Experts say the key is to engage with content critically and not be fooled by numbers alone.
Look at, for example, the comments. That's, engagement. Look at the comments and you see, for example, the names of the people that are engaging with the post. Often when these bots create the engagement, it's often two things. There are funny names And also, there are no real comments like, oh, I've used this product, it's good, whatever. It's just strange comments. So you can see clearly that this is a bot. You know, the bot is like a computer. It's the AI working. They're just creating engagement.
As long as social media success is tied to numbers, the bot's business is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. But experts insist that in the long run, authenticity will always matter more than artificial engagement. Ayisha, Yakubu, TV3 News.
Now, away from that, there will be no priority for single-sourced road project under the current dispensation, as there will be strict compliance to terms of competitive bidding. Road Minister served notice as he affirms the scarce resources will not be misused in doing and singling out contracts. Meanwhile, the overlord of Dagbon, Yana Bukari II, has lauded the president's big push agenda to open up parts of the country that remain unmotorable.
The roads minister and his entourage first paid a courtesy call on Ndayana, the overlord of Dagbon, Abukari II. Of major concern to the overlord is the quality of road recently constructed in parts of the country. While not limiting himself to any specific demands on roads to be constructed, then Ndayana expressed confidence in the ambitious infrastructure projects of the president.
We acknowledge the government's desire to fast-track infrastructural development, particularly with regards to the big push. The agenda of the government, when properly executed, will transform our transportation landscape. We look forward to collaborating with your ministry to drive economic growth and connectivity. Most roads become bumpy and uncomfortable to drive after expensive repairs have been carried out on them. Honourable Minister, all these have to look into if you want to leave a lasting legacy after you leave office.
Major roads in the northern region, despite the double year of roads by the previous administration, continue to be a major headache for commuters as they remain immotorable. The agenda of the current administration, led by its road minister, Kwame Govin-Sakboja, is to focus on the most important roads that will open up trade and make commuting easier for people.
He wants me to announce to you that he is considering an ambitious project called the Tamale Outer Ring Project, which is part of the Big Push project, which would significantly improve road network within and around Tamale, in addition to other projects that are ongoing, which he intends to continue and complete.
Where he made a significant contribution, the minister then proceeded to the Dakar Bridge, which is part of the Tamale-Yende-Tatali Road Infrastructure Project. It is a project which approved a facility of $150 million in 2017 from sponsorship from the World Bank. The scope encompasses some 168 kilometers pavement reconstruction and upgrading, major drainage improvements, fiber optics on the entire stretch, among others. There are 2 lots, all constructed by Chinese firms.
Technical people agree that the way forward is to be competitive in terms of the way we award jobs. I'm not saying you cannot award project using sole sourcing or restricted tendering, but the order of the day should be that as much as possible it should be competitive. It brings the best out of the contractors and then it gives better value to the country.
There's a further appeal from the minister to the World Bank.
Those that they did with just gravel finishing, and I think that may not last. And we are appealing to the bank to consider helping us seal them, then we can preserve the investment.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Yendi.
And now, as part of efforts to boost Ghana's agricultural sector and ensure food security, the government has launched a Feed Ghana program in the Bono East region. Speaking at the launch in Techiman on Saturday, April 12, President Mahama reiterated his commitment to transforming Ghana's agricultural sector.
The Feed Ghana program aligns with government's overarching goal of securing the future of agriculture. The launch signals a new chapter for the agricultural potential of the region. In his keynote address, the President underscored the critical importance of agriculture to Ghana's socio-economic development.
Our current food import bill is reported to stand at an alarming $2 billion annually. Agro-industries operate far below capacity, and although inflation has dropped from a high level of 54% in 2022, it still hovers at about 22% today. The main driver of this inflation index is the food basket. In this spirit, my government is rolling out the Feed Ghana program under the broader theme of Agriculture for Economic Transformation Agenda, AETA. This is a comprehensive vision to modernize and expand agriculture to create jobs, reduce food inflation, and strengthen food security.
The president also provided a detailed overview of the Feed Ghana program's key components, stressing that the initiative would build on past efforts by adopting a more integrated and sustainable approach to agriculture.
The key interventions under the Feed Ghana program are as follows. And the first is the promotion of smart agriculture. We'll establish farmer service centers nationwide to provide mechanization services, quality inputs, finance, market access, primary processing, and training for our farmers. In addition, we'll create farm banks or land banks in designated irrigable zones to support young agri entrepreneurs and enhance national food production.
The Bono East region, known for its fertile lands and substantial agricultural output, produces significant quantities of yam, maize, cassava, cocoyam, rice, plantains, and beans. Its selection as the launch site makes a strategic location to spearhead the national initiative. Belinda Tete, TV3 News, Bono East region.
Stay with us here on News 360. We have some sports news coming up next.
27th April to 18th May, the 2025 tournament will bring together 13 teams from across the continent divided into 3 groups, 1 of 5 teams and 2 of 4. The top 2 teams from each group plus the 2 best placed teams would advance to the quarterfinals of the competition. And as mentioned earlier, Ghana are in Group C with Senegal, Central African Republic and DR Congo. Senegal are current holders of the competition. Now let's move on to the Ghana Premier League, where Hearts of Oak's Premier League title push took a little knock after drawing 1-1 at Vision FC on Sunday, April 13. The Phobians scored first through Kevin Osei-Sibe in the 38th minute before Meshak Soa-Jete pulled parity 2 minutes into the second half. Asante Kotoko dropped points at home after being held 1-1 by Bichim United at the Babara Stadium in Kumasi on Sunday. The Porcupine Warriors missed the chance to extend their lead at the top of the table, and Gold Stars FC battled their way to joint top of the Premier League table after a 1-0 win over Young Apostles FC at home. Now moving on to the Premier League, Liverpool resumed their match story. Softball, a variation of baseball, will become one of the Olympic events in the 2028 in Los Angeles. Many countries, Ghana inclusive, are preparing talents to go to possibly feature on the big stage. Hence, a Ghana Shock Softball Clinic took place on Saturday at Odoko Police Station, field to groom talents.
The event brought together young talents who are learning the basics of the sport. Niabosokai III, who is the patron of Ghana Shock Softball, explained the rationale behind the event.
For us to support it and make sure we get good environment for them. So we're still talking to a lot of people out there, and then we follow all Ghanaians, organizations, and whoever will come on board to come and support these young ones.
Thrilled by the application by the young athletes, Coach George Mauli and Kama expressed his excitement.
Softball is a new sport in Ghana. Not many people know about softball, and so this is going to empower the girls to learn both physical skills and mental skills for development. So they are learning how to throw, they are learning how to jump, they are learning how to catch, they are running, and so they combine all these techniques, and then effectively they are able to, discharge this on the field of play, given the opportunity.
Kids present at the event were handed a number of gears and equipment to facilitate their development and learning of the sport by Virginia-based Bailey Bonsu Brown, who highlighted the importance of giving back to society.
I just love playing the sport so much. It just brings me so much joy, and being in Ghana now, of being able to teach all these kids, it's even so much better. Being able to just gather gear and stuff, it's so easy because I have so much old gear that I'm not going to be using. That's just sitting in my garage. But what better way to just bring it to here in Ghana and give it to the kids so they can use it.
Former national baseball player Joseph Finn expressed his readiness to support the young talents reach the highest level. The maiden edition of the sport is expected to move Ghana Shock Softball to greater heights.
That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. Up next is entertainment.
In entertainment news this evening, a charged blend of reconciliation, tension and excitement filled the air last night at the Perfect Match Season 2 reunion. AJ Sapon took viewers on a journey through the stories of several participants, revealing how their relationships have evolved since the show. If you missed it, here are some of the standout moments you need to catch up on. We'll bring that in subsequent bulletins. Let's now bring you international news.
We begin the international news from Africa, and Gabon's military leader, Brice Oligui Nguema, has won the country's presidential election, according to provisional results. Initial results announced on Sunday showed Nguema, who led a 2023 military coup, had secured nearly 80% of the vote. The Interior Ministry said his closest rival, Alain Claude Billy by Nze, had some 3% of the vote, and 6 other candidates failed to win more than 1%. A new research has revealed that more than 3 million children, many of them from Southeast Asia and Africa, are believed to have lost their lives in 2022 due to infections that are resistant in antibiotics. The report released in Austria on Sunday said the study underscores the urgent need for both regional and global strategies to combat pediatric antimicrobial resistance (AMR) infections. Antimicrobial resistance develops when the microbes that cause infections evolve in such a way that antibiotic drugs no longer work. It has been identified as one of the biggest public health threats facing the world's population.
And that's it for the hour's bulletin here on TV3, also live on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. My name is Noble Crosby Annan.
And I'm Ayisha Yakubu. Date Rush reunion is up next. Please stay.
Bye.